SimWorld, what up? What it do? It's another episode of Rick's Blazing Takes coming at you live and direct, giving you the ins and outs of SimWorld. Let's get right into it. We got 3 blazing takes, 3 hot topics we're going to get into. Let's get into it. Topic number 1. Players, all the new recruits coming in. There's a lot of good recruits coming in that we're all excited about. I want to make sure the players understand one thing, though. A lot of you guys coming in and know you have a lot of talent, a lot of things you offer to the team, but we need to see how you're actually going to play in the team concept. What I mean is, everyone's not going to score 25 points a game on their team. Everyone's not going to score 10, not going to grab 10 rebounds a game. Everyone's not going to have 10 assists a game, 5 blocks a game. Some of us are going to be just really good role players on our team, and we need to accept that. Some of us is going to, hey, I'm looking for who's going to set that screen to get that person that wide open shot. Who's going to dive after those loose balls? Who's going to be the person that's going to play that timely D? Who's going to take the charge? Who's going to give up the hard fouls? Those guys are going to be the guys that we're going to be looking at, and we're also going to be highlighting, because I tell you what, every winning team has those components. You're not winning anything without those players doing that dirty work for you. So guys, you need to start focusing on other aspects of your game, because there's only one basketball, and it's only going to take you so far. Let me give you a few examples. Montrezl Harrell, who was a role player in the NBA. Did you know Montrezl probably plays, 20, 30 minutes, depending on the teams that he's playing. Most nights he's averaging, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 8 points some years. It's not a lot, right? But did you know Montrezl Harrell averaged 25 points and 13 rebounds in high school? He was 25 and 13 a night in high school. So what I'm saying is, he had to, when he got on these teams like the NBA that had all this talent on it, he couldn't show that 25 and 13 because he had to play a particular role to help his team win. So that role had him playing in spot minutes, and sometimes when he got opportunity to score, he did. But you knew he knew he had the talent. The guys on his team knew he had a talent, but he had a particular role that he needed to fill to help that team win. Here's another example. This is probably my favorite example. Luke Kennard. Yes, Luke Kennard, who's a role player, who's a shooter. I think he's on, I don't even know what team he's on right now. I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure what team he's on this season. He's played with several different teams. Detroit. I think he got drafted by Detroit, but he's playing on some other teams. Anyway, in high school, let me give you Luke Kennard's high school stats. 38 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game, and 2 steals a game. That's Luke Kennard's high school stats. The man was a high school beast. Made it to the NBA. First round pick from Duke. He's come nowhere near averaging 38 points a game, nowhere near 9 rebounds a game, 6 assists, or 2 steals. Did Luke Kennard lose his skill set? No, he did not. But because of the position that he came in, or the way that he came in, or the team that he's on, he's been relegated to a particular position that he has to play really well to stay on the court. So my point is, players, make sure you guys look at other things outside of just who's shooting the most, who's scoring the most points, who's grabbing the most rebounds, and who's leading the league with the most assists, because those other things, those hockey assists, who's setting those screens, who's setting those picks, who's doing the dirty work, who's doing those hard fouls, who's hitting their free throws, those things are just as important to the overall aspect of the game. Topic number 2. Speaking of players, you can't talk about the players until you talk about the coaches. Coaches, it's very important to make sure you put those players in those positions to be who they need to be in your particular scheme, offensively and defensively. You have the power to help those players either succeed in your system or not succeed in your system. I have to give credit to Coach Murray in our beta season last year with CKC. It was a consensus that those of us who knew CKC end up averaging something like 30, 35 points a game. He was a beast in the beta year for SimWorld. However, that was because of Coach Murray. CKC was not the most talented person on his team. But the way Coach Murray decided to use CKC allowed him to flourish to become the player that he became that entire season, which became the best player in our league, #1 overall rating at the end of the year. So, coaches, it's imperative that you really do your due diligence on these players and where they're going to play and how you're going to play them and how you're going to use them. So either you're going to be responsible for growing that talent, or you may be responsible for stumping that talent if you're not careful on how you do that. Shout out to Coach Murray, who got the most out of his CKC last year. He and Bilardi, I know they have a pretty good track record of getting the most out of their players. And so we're looking forward to the other coaches to see what you guys can do this season with the players that you have. And topic number 3. I want to give a shout out to Around the Table for doing their top 5 teams that they are worried about. So I figure I will finish my topic number 3 with the top 5 teams that I gave the highest grade to based on their offseason acquisitions. Meaning based on where you guys were going into the offseason, I think you made some of the best moves to help your team to flourish in this upcoming SimWorld season. So I'm starting off with Gotham 5. Actually, Gotham 5 has a sliding grade for me. They can be as low as a C rating for me, and they can be as high as a B+ rating for me. And I say that because Coach Bilardi has put a lot of faith in his team this year on a bunch of young guys who have to play really intricate positions and intricate roles in his offense and defense this year. So if the young guys, if the young Bulls can step up and do what Coach Bilardi asked them to do and really be those teams, this is a B+, maybe even an A offseason for him. If those guys struggle, and if the young guys can't quite get it together and gel on time, this can be a C rating for this team. So Coach Gotham 5 is the only team on this list that has a sliding scale. They can be as bad as a C rating, or they can be as great as an A+ rating. So we'll see. I have faith in Coach Bilardi, so we'll see how that goes. Another team grading, I have H-Town Hoopers, B-. H-Town Hoopers, they did a very good job. I was worried about them. I'm not going to lie. H-Town Hoopers, y'all had a brother on cardiac arrest. I didn't know what was going on, what we was going to get done or not get done. But you came through in the clutch. Vince Magic, Keaton Carter. Of course, you already had Aaron Payne there. You added Rashad Johnson. You added Gary Ari. It's going to be interesting to see how the coach works the lineup. I think how he sets his lineup is going to determine how H-Town Hoopers are going to play this year. I think they have a really good team on paper. I am a bit concerned on how they're going to gel as a team and how they're going to play as a team. I will say that. But it's early, right? So I don't want to put too much on that because no one has played a game yet this season. So, but on paper, these are some pretty good transactions. They did a really good job. And on paper, they're ready to go. Next team, I have to give credit to. I got to go with Showtime, B-. We knew about the James, bro. We knew about Bronny. We knew about Bryce. And but they went ahead and got some help defensively. They already had Jackson, and so they went ahead and got Corey Yams, who helps defensively. He can play defensively hold the 5 position, even a little bit of the 4, and then the pinch of 3. But so they got the front court help. The back court, of course, you got Bronny in the back. You got Juka G, who also plays defensively in the back. Those two guards might even lead the league and be in the top 20 in steals this season. I won't be surprised. Also, Bryce plays really good defense too. So they got the defensive guys that you signed. They also signed the guy Mark Chisholm, who's also a defensive guy as well. So actually, I had Showtime at about a C+ until they signed Kenyon Waring. They needed shooting. They needed somebody who's going to space the floor for them. And Kenyon Waring does that from the wing position. You got Draco Woodford that they signed also as well. And don't forget about Letterman. So they finally got their shooters. Those are their main shooters. So for all the mismatching and dropping and signing and all the crazy stuff that's been going on with Coach Smith, I do think he settled on a lineup that's actually pretty good. that really complements each other. So he got a lot of flack for that, and he should, right? There's a lot going on, a lot going on, right? Even talking about kids, but I think at the end of the day, I think his lineup is pretty good, and I graded his team out as a B-. With a score of a B. Rocky Mountain, I got to give it to them. They start off really slow. Their day one was really trash. It was nothing going on. But then day two, they got a bunch of really good pieces. They started getting the Lucas Banks and your Justin Bell and your Jane Davis and the Booby Walker and the big guy, Maury Washington. They got a lot between Banks, Bell, Davis, and Walker. They got a lot of pieces that can fit in a lot of different spots. So they got a bunch of Swiss Army knives. So I think this team can be really interesting and sneaky good this year with what they've gathered for this season, for the upcoming SimWorld season. So they got a B for me. Moving up the ladder, B+, Southwest Select. People haven't really been talking about Southwest Select, man. But let's start off. First of all, Trey Turner is there. Last time I checked, Trey Turner hasn't gone anywhere. He's still that guy. But what they picked up was huge. Keandre Baldridge is huge. Gabe Pope is a huge sign. They got D Jackson. I think Gabe Pope and Trey Turner low-key may be one of the best guard combinations this season. I think if they put them like 0.2, I don't know how coach is going to run them, but I think that can be like one of the most dangerous guard combinations low-key this season. So then you got Stack, you got Shake Travis. They had a really good squad. They didn't make a bunch of moves, but all their moves kind of went under the radar. But they were all really, 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 really good moves. So Southwest Select guys, get a B+ from me. In the final team with an A, the only team I rated as an A, Bay Area Breakers. It's early. I know no one's played anything, but just on the paper, those guys went and fulfilled every need and hole that they have. Now, how they going to play together, I have no idea. How their rotation is going to look, I have no idea. Players are going to be happy with their bench roles and the minutes that they may or may not play, I have no idea. Coach Pope has a lot to figure out as far as that's concerned. But as far as how they look on paper, they don't really have any glaring weak spots. Royce Anderson, shooter. Dom Hardaway, shooter and passer. Trey Hyman, beast in the middle. Curtis London, solid player off the bench. Xavier Polk, shooter. Ronnie Shanahan, shooter and defense. Caden Ship, shooter, defense. He does it all. Then you got the new guy, Joey Voorhees, who we saw a little bit of highlight. So I don't know how good he is in a against an actual big man that was a guard / wing. But we know he's not trash. So the gamble seemed to have paid off in some respects, at least good enough for him to earn a roster spot. And his teammates seem pretty excited about him. Coach Pope seemed pretty excited about him. They see this guy every day in practice and in scrimmage. So if they're pretty excited about him, he must have got something talking about. So they are my number one rank. Again, I said it before. I don't know how he got what he got, but he got it. It is what it is. They rank out as my number one off-season additions to their team. They rank out with the grade of an A. There you have it, folks. 3 topics. Ran it down kind of fast, trying to get to it. Make sure you guys keep a lot. Give me your things. Who do you feel? What grade would you give your team on what they've done so far in the offseason? And be honest, because if it's outlandish, I'm going to correct it. Put it in the Discord. Looking forward to hearing it. Looking forward to reading it. Looking forward to commenting on it. Till next time, y'all. Peace.